Okay, how you doing today, Mr. Ital Iman I?
Yes, I am.
This is Young Shaman, and we're interviewing Ital Iman. Going to ask him some questions today on this beautiful day, on this beautiful Friday. All right. So, how you doing today, Ital?
Hey, everything is Irie. We're talking beyond the hidden colors.
Okay.
Beyond the hidden colors. What is missing and beyond hidden colors is a consensus. It's a great thing that all the different elements have fused, but we have to go beyond the contradiction. Okay, the collage concept is the concept. It is a divine concept, but in order for it to be totally divine or ordained by the gods, there must be a consensus. So we have brought all of the historians together. The brother that did the hidden colors have brought all the historians to light. All of our information has been indirectly placed in collage form, so the people that's looking at it can get a bird's eye view. But we must go beyond hidden colors, because there is another collage that's very important, and that's the collage of the music. And there's a message in the black music, and we must understand that. We talk about the Illuminati and this and that, and those people are doing this, our icons are dying. So Dick Gregory is saying that, as always, yeah, they killed Prince. They killed Prince. Just 30 minutes before after I was talking to him, so he knows that they killed Prince. Okay, we all know that. We all know their information. So what is the consensus? What is it that we as a collective people should be doing? That came from the music. Now we must look at the timeline, the divine timeline. So many hundred or so years up from slavery in the year 1930. Two movements came. Okay. There were other movements in the 20s like Marcus Garvey, but in 1930, and we must note that it was a 13-year. The United States, we must understand, is based upon the vibration of number 13, which is the ancient Maya genetic coding. Their calendar, the zodiac, is based on the number 13, it's a 64-unit matrix, and it's metaphysically connected to the DNA coding. So America is based on the ancient black wisdom. So is the two redemption movements that came to, as Bob Marley said, we free our people with music. We note that Haile Selassie gave the ring to Bob Marley. So that meant something when Haile Selassie gave the ring to Bob Marley. That means that there is some significance in the Rastafari. Now we must note all the religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, all the major religions. Rastafari is the last major religion. So from 1930 to 2017, we have about 87 years. Okay, now, as we know, we'll call that the first resurrection, 1930. We'll call that the first resurrection. Okay, when Elijah Muhammad came along, our people began to resurrect. They started from mental slavery, from the mental dead. They started rising up. Okay, in their liturgies, in their esoteric teachings, the Nation of Islam had 60 years to rule. That's symbolic of the 6,000 years that the Queen and that lineage had to rule, 6,000 years. So that time was up in the year 1990 for the Nation of Islam. Okay, so now we go to the last spiritual movement upon orb-ship Earth, which is the Rastafari movement. Within the Rastafari movement, there has been a compiling or a putting together this collage of all of our ancient religion, all the wisdom that we see in hidden colors, going back to 1930, the timeline, going back slavery, beyond slavery, but we go all the way back to the Anunnaki. So we incorporate the scriptures, the Holy Script, into our reasoning. So there's a book that has come out of this last movement called the Holy Book of Wonder. We're going beyond hidden colors now. There's a book called the Holy Book of Wonder, which was 35 years in the makings. So it's all the different elements, all the different contradictions have fused into one great synthesis. So there is no contradiction at the top. So what has come out of this is there was a message in the music of the 7 major poets or the 7 major prophets, being that during the Bible time there was not a word for prophets. So they were poets. Now Saul, he was walking down the stairwell playing on a psaltery with a company of musicians, that is written in the script that he prophesied badly, meaning that he sang out of tune or played out of tune. He was a bad singer or a bad musician. So they said Saul was possessed by evil spirits. So we're just depicting that our musicians not necessarily prophesied anything, because the prophets in the Bible didn't necessarily talk about all of them, about things that would happen into the future. But we'll go back to Stevie Wonder in the year 1974. He was going to a concert, I believe, in Durham, in one of the Carolinas, North or South Carolina, Durham, wherever that city is. Highway 85, that's symbolic also, Highway 85. He was being driven by his cousin in the passenger seat while listening to music, sleep, earphones on. The car ran into, one of the stories go, ran into the back of a pulpwood truck, and the bed hit Stevie in the head, and he went into a coma. Before that, he was having a premonition about he was going to die, so he wrote the song Higher Ground. So he was wondering, why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling like I'm fixing to die? Why do I feel like something's going to happen to me? I did nobody wrong, I'm not his mom, etc., etc. So when that happened, he went into a coma. So that prophecy or that premonition was fulfilled. So we note that when you go into a coma, your spirit leaves your body. You're no longer responsive. Your mind is not functioning. You're no longer responsive. So being in the hospital, Aaron Tucker, I believe his name was, sung the song, whispered the song in Stevie's ear after he'd been in a coma for some time. And he noticed that his fingers started moving as he was singing Higher Grounds in his ear. So there's something about this song, Higher Grounds, this premonition vibration. Well, Stevie Wonder came back to us, and he said wherever he was, as he was asked about it, he said wherever he was, it was a nice place, it was better than here. And he said from that place, he learned what he was to do throughout his life. He got his mission, his life mission. In other words, he was programmed. His soul left his body, and he was taken back to the Nibiru, where the Anunnaki programs us at. And he came back with a message in his music. And this message was pertaining to the constellation Sirius from the album Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. He was telling us about this rotation of the smallest star, Sirius, around the larger star. So there was an album later, which was in part to help get the Martin Luther King birthday as a national holiday. The album was called Hotter Than July. So we note the album's name, title, Hotter Than July, depicts the hotter days of summer, the July and August, when Sirius is behind our sun. So he's still on the Sirius vibration, Hotter Than July. So one of the lines in the song, the verses states, when you're moving in the positive, your destination is the brightest star. So that message, Master Blaster Jam, which is a code for a concert that will be in the future, and that will signal the ancestors. So there were other musicians who had a consensus with that vibration. Bob Marley, talk to Stevie. So the album was also dedicated to Bob Marley, the master blaster jamming. There was Marvin Gaye in the album In Our Lifetime. Note that, in our lifetime. There's something great happening here, and it's beyond hidden colors. In our lifetime. So there's a song in that album, instead of the album cover and all that for symbols and signs, but in that album there's a song called Praise. And in that song he sings about Stevie Wonder. Listen for it. He calls Stevie's name and he says, Stevie, and after that he says, praise him. And he's saying that we're waiting on something. He says, Stevie, we're all waiting for you to do what you know you come here in life to do. So we go back to the Songs of Solomon that appear to be singing about love and sex and women, but it's about our union with God. So check Marvin Gaye, one of the major prophets. We go to George Clinton. George Clinton, in his song, he sings about the mothership connection. Mothership will fly like it always does. And one of his songs is called This Is the Way We Fought With You, saying that this is the way the Anunnaki, or this is the way at this time that the gods speak to us. So we hear the nursery rhymes. I know an old lady who live on the hill, she won't, but a sister will. The nursery rhymes, the Aesop fables. The Sufis looking to the Aesop fables for wisdom. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself. At this time, we call the Holy Master Blaster Jamming.
Yes, how you doing today, Mr. Ital Iman I?
Thanks, all right, brother.
What are we talking about today?
We're still on the hidden colors.
Okay,
beyond hidden colors. We're talking about revolution.
Okay.
And we're talking about a peaceful revolution. As Bob Marley say, we free our people with music. But let us back up and look at Malcolm right quick, right? I was privy to be a student and as an independent journalist speak with a brother they called back in the literature of the Nation of Islam, Anas Luqman. And from Anas Luqman, I learned that the government was still interested in Malcolm even until now. They were concerned about how Malcolm got into China, how was the meeting set up with Mao Zedong during the time when, American citizens couldn't go into Red China. So Anas Luqman was a man that went into China to talk to Chairman Mao to get him to set up a meeting with Malcolm. Okay, I know from that information that Mao Zedong told Malcolm if the United States were to go against him or the black race, as Malcolm was fixing to go to the United Nations to bring our plight to the United Nations, that Mao Zedong would attack America. So we know that to be a fact, and we know that Malcolm had hooked up with other leaders, African leaders from the continent. So we know that it could have been a war, and we would stood a chance against the military at that particular time. But the Anunnaki saw fit that wasn't to be the case. So Malcolm was taken out. We can go into that and research how that happened. We have inside information on that. But the revolution, what is a revolution? We see Black Lives Matter, it's a public movement. It's financed by the same people that are supposed to be going against the Illuminati or the white men with the great money. So we see our icons are dying, Prince, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, etc. So we find that through our research, we found that the war is not against the average people and not against not directed at that aspect of the Illuminati that is directed. It's not focused. So we must look at the record companies. We must look at the venue owners, the people that have the venues for the concerts, and we must look at the concert promoters. These are multi-millionaire companies, multi-million-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies. These are the people that are causing the death of our prophets, our musicians. So we have to target that, not war against them, but form a company ourselves to promote the concert. Now, the concert that comes from the consensus, the Master Blaster Jamming, we need to get to Stevie Wonder. There's a group around him, the La Rota group being one, his brothers and all the other people that own the venues and stuff. Once they get him on the contract, they own him. So we must get to break through that wall of illusion that the people explore the practicality of this gathered, or shall we say, new information that's presented by us in this book called the Holy Book of Wonder. That's the consensus. That's what we should be doing. We should be forming record labels, producing our own stuff, promoting our own concerts. And how we do that, if we promote the concert, the Master Blaster Jamming, if we get to Stevie Wonder before they get him or before he died of natural causes, it's paramount that we do that, because there are only three major prophets left. We just lost Maurice White a few days ago. So there's Stevie Wonder, there's George Clinton, and there is Frankie Beverly of Maze. They're still around. A few other people, about two more, are still around, but we must get to them, and we must have this Master Blaster Jamming. We had Woodstock years ago, which was a precursor or the forerunner or the harbinger of the Master Blaster Jamming. This Master Blaster Jamming is paramount. It will stop things as they are. It would give us the monies, and it would give us an opportunity to restructure. We have a thing with Bambaataa up now, trending. KRS-One, we find that the rap industry is corrupt from the foundation. We found that a lot of things are corrupt from the foundation. Now with the Master Blaster Jamming, we start anew, and as George Clinton say, it's the signals, it's the prophesied signal for the landing of the Holy Mothership. Yes, I am.